All right, welcome to another action-packed episode of Geeky Voices Carry. This is our 35th episode, guys.
Crikey.
Really?
35, yes. Over, like,
Wow.
12 years, so.
Yeah.
With me, as always, Stacy Delorfano,
Hello.
Josh Thompson,
Hey.
and that Canadian guy.
Are you going to tell anyone my name?
No?
All right. Hi, everyone.
You're the only Canadian on the internet, I think. So,
I'm
yeah.
not the only Canadian on the internet.
All right,
Nickelback's
tonight,
on the internet,
We're
too.
all on the internet. You know why? Because the servers are warm.
because socialized medicine.
We huddle around the servers to keep warm, and then we just, we jack in.
Actually, did you see? I think it was in the Netherlands. There's a company that was
Startup, yes. It is
yeah, they were
replacing
putting server farms into people's homes to use as heat.
Yeah, it saves them $600 a year or something, or
Yeah.
€400 or some ridiculous amount of money.
So
That's interesting.
tonight's theme is going to be a full-length episode of nothing but cool shit in our something cool category. We're just going to talk about stuff we like, and we're going, for once, to try to avoid the negativity. It's going to take all of our strength and willpower, and maybe a little bit of alcohol, but we're going to try. So let's start with television.
Television.
And actually, I'm gonna direct this towards Stacy at the first place. I've started rewatching Fringe.
Really?
Yeah, I watched them all when they were live, but I
Yeah.
decided recently to start rewatching them, and it's kind of a two-edged sword. Because it's cool that you get to see things that you miss. Like I found, like a couple episodes ago, I found a Twin Peaks reference that I missed the first time around, and it wasn't a subtle one either. So I was really kind of disappointed that I missed that. But then at the same time, it's like I'm in the third season now, and I'm rushing towards the point where someone dies.
Aw.
I'm not going to.
Fringe
I'm sure
Fringe
there's
is the,
somebody out there who hasn't watched Fringe yet and will get really upset when I tell them that this character is going to die in like 3 episodes, I think.
Fringe is the one with the guy from Dawson's Creek, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of like an XFiles for the 21st century.
As opposed to the X-Files that's coming out?
It's a little weird. I mean, it started out that way, but I forget what season it was that we just couldn't watch it anymore.
I mean, there were problems. I had some problems with it that I didn't have watching it when it was like it's weekly. Like, I was really kind of bothered by the whole Olivia being replaced by her other dimensional
That's
counterpart.
pretty much where I stopped because I just those episodes I don't know how many there are, but they're just painful to watch.
Yeah, and it's
Sounds
really,
like when Sliders went off the rails.
it was hard to get through. I mean, it was only about four episodes or so I just kind of soldiered through. But I did have more of a problem with that storyline than I did watching it live.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I still like it better than X-Files. So,
But you're getting new X-Files in a few months.
I can't be negative, so we're not going to talk about
I was gonna say, I shouldn't say that.
I think it's fun that it just started up, that it just
Well,
got
see,
going.
here's my thing. I have absolutely no problem. I would love to see a new X-Files, but what I think we need is X-Files: The Next Generation. I think we need a whole new cast and a whole new approach and sensibility.
Yeah,
I think that would be wise. Like a handoff.
I mean, I would have no problem with Duchovny and Anderson appearing in a few episodes, and then maybe him taking 3 to the head execution style. so that we would never
Wow.
ever have to see Mulder in another episode again.
Oh.
And that's me being. I just would like to emphasize that I'm positive that I would like to see Mulder take 3 to the back of the head execution style. So, but I mean, it's we had their X-Files, and we had the X-Files of half a dozen other people too. So I would really just I think that the show would be benefited by pumping fresh blood into it. So.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
And I think, honestly, I think the only reason why the new X-Files is happening is because Chris Carter's Amazon program got unceremoniously dumped. So, which is a shame because it was an interesting pilot, and then it just apparently somebody at Amazon said, no, we don't want to do this after all.
Wow.
After it was approved and everything, they dropped it.
So Amazon is the new Fox.
Well, no, because it didn't even get past the pilot stage. So,
No.
I'm assuming it must have gotten past the pilot. They must have seen the scripts and went, no, this is just what the hell were we thinking? So, but anyway, no, I mean, I am enjoying Fringe again, and I like one of the reasons why I've liked Fringe is because it makes for a very gameable concept. You know,
Okay.
because you've got.
So,
Well, you've got a group of characters with really very little regard for their personal safety, throwing themselves into bizarre situations week after week.
mhm.
So, is it old school D&D or Call of Cthulhu?
It's probably both, really.
Mhm.
But I mean, not I don't know. It didn't really kind of descend into the monster of the week that X-Files got near the end. So I don't know.
I kind of
mean-
don't mind Monster of the Week. Honestly.
Yeah, Monster of the Week was where X-Files was at its best.
Oh, see, I preferred the mythology episodes, but until it got to a point where like everything had to do with Mulder's sister, and then that got a little old. But so, I think what we should talk about next is how can we best spoil Agent Carter for Stacy.
What?
Have you
Yeah,
have you fin-
yeah.
have-
You
have you
haven't watched
finished
it?
I haven't watched the last episode. That's the only.
What? How could you not watch the last episode?
I just haven't got around to it yet. I hate final episodes. It's hard for me to watch them because then. But now that I know that there's going to be a second season, I'm much more likely to go watch it sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So what did you like about Agent Carter?
I love the character. I love the setting. I love the kind of things that they're doing. I mean, I love all of the characters in it, not just Agent Carter. Stark is awesome, and the butler dude. What's his name?
Jarvis.
Jarvis. That's right.
Jarvis is enjoyable.
Well, I just put that together. Okay. Yeah, and he's great.
Aw.
We just saw Winter Soldier last night.
Hashtag it's all connected.
Winter Soldier is pretty awesome. I love how when they go into the original S.H.I.E.L.D. base, there's a picture of Peggy there.
Yeah. I loved all the little tie-ins.
Yeah.
Great to watch. I love that. That's one of the things that I like about the MCU altogether. Is I watch the movies and I'm looking for things that I've seen in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or vice versa. It's kind of cool.
And I'll say this without spoiling anything about Age of Ultron. I was really disappointed that they didn't bring the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into the movie.
I was.
Well, they can't because
Joss
doesn't-
Whedon is a poopy head.
well, he's keeping Coulson dead, right? So as far as he's concerned, the Avengers will never see. As far as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's going to last until the next movie because he's no longer has stewardship over the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, so Coulson will show up and everybody will lose their freaking minds.
That'd be awesome. I kept wanting to tell them during the whole movie, Coulson's alive!
Yeah, Yeah, I was really kind of disappointed in that. And honestly, I think that considering how many people have already come back from the dead for some of these people, that Coulson coming back to life really wouldn't shock them as much
Did,
as.
did Whedon do
Yeah.
Winter Soldier?
I'm sorry?
Did Whedon do Winter Soldier?
No, that was the Russo brothers.
Huh. So then why didn't they show up in that one?
They well,
Actually, they were very busy while the
yeah,
Winter Soldier thing went on because they
it
were
was all
trying not
integrated.
to get arrested by everyone in the world,
They were
and
fighting Hydra.
yeah. So
But
That was
still,
concurrent.
that's what everybody was doing it at the same time. So you'd think that they'd like run into each other, or
No, Fury moved from one to the other, and that was the real connection, is him moving back and forth.
I know, but still.
I wouldn't. So I'm hoping that it means that they will bring it back in Civil War.
Well, they'll
'Cause, I
probably
mean,
bring the Inhumans into Civil War.
they can only go so long without acknowledging it.
Wait. Who was the guy in Winter Soldier with the wings?
That was Falcon.
Oh,
Yeah.
Does he have a movie of his own, or is that he was just a bit character
No,
in that?
he's just a
Well,
side
he's an
kick.
Avenger.
Yeah, at the end of the Avengers, they made him an
Yeah, I
Avenger.
remember that.
Age and End of Ultron.
See, the thing is
Spoiler.
that I haven't
Thanks.
seen. Yeah, good job. I
Yeah,
haven't
and I
seen-
didn't give our we don't give a crap about spoilers standard warning at the beginning, so we will try to avoid them, but we don't try
Captain
hard.
Americas until just a little while ago, and I've only seen the first Thor. I haven't seen the second Thor yet.
Yeah.
The second Thor it was good and bad. I mean, it was I liked the stronger emphasis on the fantasy elements, but some of the stuff in the second Thor movie was a little goofy.
I feel like I
The
need.
sciencing was weird.
Well, you're dealing with Asgard and the Norse gods. I think science should be. I loved what's his name, Skarsgård, the guy who plays the
going
physicist.
crazy? Yeah.
When he's giving, he was one of the best parts of that. Well, he went crazy after Avengers, but
Yeah, because of he had a god in his head for like 4
Yeah.
years or something.
yeah.
We'll just give it to him as that's okay. You don't have to wear pants anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, the weird sciencing where they change their scanners into some kind of container for the dark energy seemed just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that was probably one of the least of the problems of that movie. So I don't know.
All right.
And I was kind of one thing I was kind of bothered with in the Avengers was that
Spoilers.
no, this isn't really a spoiler. It was just
Okay,
that
good.
it's just basically that Jane and Pepper all got kind of written off.
Oh.
And there's like a
Yeah.
brief mention, and then that's about it. They don't even figure into the movie.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know, but we
Because
got
they lost a lot of money.
but we got an hour of Hawkeye's redacted.
That was kind of cool. That whole hour. I think that might have been my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, I think actually that worked a lot better than some of the big fights. The fight scene
Yeah.
at the beginning of the movie was not good.
Yeah. It was.
So-
It was. Yeah, it was way too cheesy in several parts.
Yeah, and like the one that was in the big trailer, I don't really understand the physics of having everyone jump in the same general direction and all facing forward while doing this.
I know, didn't it? I was just like, okay,
Even
trying too hard.
even Rob Liefeld has a better grasp of human anatomy than that scene. So,
Huh.
Ouch.
yeah,
What'd you think of Quicksilver and
I like
what's
them. I liked the one thing that it was funny that I don't think I'd thought about for about 30 years worth of comics, but it as soon as they started talking, I was like, yeah, it makes sense that these I never really thought of these characters as having Eastern European accents, even
really?
though even though they both have a strong Eastern European backstory. For some reason,
Right.
it's like Quicksilver in the X-Men movie.
Yeah, but he
You know,
didn't. Did he? No, he didn't
no,
have
he didn't
a.
have an accent. No.
Maybe he just lost it really fast.
Well, I think he lived in Southern California, and that does that to an accent,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right, Stacy?
Would totally surfer.
I have no idea what you're
On
talking
the
about. I've never had an accent my entire
false.
life.
Exactly.
But dude.
See?
Dudes.
You guys could all move to Newfoundland, and then you'd just pick it up eventually. You'd be saying weird stuff. Like,
But
where's it to? And boy,
But yeah, I really liked the Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. I particularly liked the Scarlet Witch. I think she had a better arc in that movie than some of the already established characters. So,
That's cool.
Yeah,
but
I would
I'm
like
looking.
to see more of her. I think.
Well, we'll get that, I'm sure, in Civil War
Yeah.
and in the
won't there be a
Avengers.
Scarlet Witch and Vision movie?
Probably not.
Maybe they'll get a Netflix series.
Yeah, we've still got like 3 years before we get an actual Marvel Cinematic female-led movie. So.
Oh.
Isn't it 3 years, 2 years, something like 2017 or 18? I don't remember what year the Captain Marvel movie is supposed to come out.
Oh yeah. Who's playing Captain Marvel?
No idea.
A lot of people have been tossing names around, like Katie Sackhoff, and there was somebody else who was mentioned as like a sure thing.
I think
can't remember who it
the
was.
woman. Well, no, there's no sure things. It's just the internet talking about who they'd like.
Yeah, maybe.
I did kind of like the woman from Viking.
Oh yeah,
Was one of the ones suggested, but
that was a front runner of some kind.
yeah. But nah, it's gonna be like a couple of movies before we ever see her. I'm assuming she'll probably show up in the Avengers duo movies. So.
Well, I mean, the Kree is heavily part of the whole Marvel cinematic universe, so
Well, more so in the TV stuff because it's
Yeah.
played a big part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
huge.
So.
They even had
No.
one show up, which was fun.
I just watched the other day. I rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, I love that movie.
That has been that's been the most fun, I think, of the
By
Marvel
far.
cinematic movies.
Yeah, that's it.
You know,
I
they
can't
have
wait to
they
see
have a
Civil
lot of
War.
angst. They have a lot of angst in it, but they manage to deal with it in a in healthy ways by getting drunk and beating on each other. So, I think.
Oh, and we're all standing up now. Are you happy? We look like idiots.
But yeah, I think honestly, I think that has been my favorite of the Marvel cinematics so far. I'd say it would for me it would have to be that Winter Soldier and then Iron Man.
I really liked Captain America, the original one, the first one.
The original one was good, but I think Winter Soldier was a lot better.
Yeah, but as an origin story, it was one of the better ones that I've seen.
I'm tired of origin stories.
Yeah, everybody's tired of
movies.
origin stories. Why can't we just jump right in?
Apparently, we're going to do that with Spider-Man.
Well, we need to. We've seen his origin story so many frickin' times.
Well, there's been 6 movies, 5 of which were origin stories, I believe. So,
Like, okay, we get it already.
I mean, we've had what, like 2 Spider-Mans, we've had 3 Uncle Bens, we've had 12 Aunt Mays. You know,
Yeah,
I think at
it's
this
like-
point everyone knows who Peter Parker is. It's like Superman.
If
You
you
know?
have trouble with the origin of Spider-Man, just Google the Bakshi cartoon, watch it, and then you're up to speed. Seriously, it doesn't matter.
I think they should do a live-action version of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Oh my god.
I think it should just be Spider-Man, Iceman, and Firestar fighting crime and going to
Their dorm.
and going to school.
Computers that come out of the walls and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah. All right. That
Giant-
sounds like a great idea.
Giant ass 1980s computers. Because they're college students, they can't afford new computers.
They have to use
So-
ones from the 80s that hide in the walls because
Yes.
they got a special at IKEA and then just, they flip.
The supervillain fold-out special from IKEA.
Yep. That's right.
They have to interrupt their raids in WoW just to go stop crime.
Yeah.
Crime happen.
You know, Josh, that kind of reminds me. I didn't read it, but I saw in passing on one of my feeds as I was getting myself reconnected to the internet this evening that apparently some people beat one of the bosses on World of Warcraft.
Okay. I mean, that's
That's
It
what they're
happens all
supposed to
the
do.
time.
Well,
Yeah.
they made it sound like it was a big deal because they said it was, you know.
mm,
Is there a
I don't
new
know.
raid out or something?
I should have actually read the article.
They're there to be beaten. Seriously.
So, but it I don't know. See, I figured you'd
I
know,
didn't
and then
see
you
it.
could make this sound interesting. as
Nope.
opposed-
no, probably not.
Are we going to answer this question that we got, or?
Which question?
Yeah,
just
I guess we can answer the question. Do you want to read it, David?
Sure. So Brent Newhall asks, "What's your favorite public way to show off your geekiness? How has your geekdom manifested in the real world?" Apparently,
Stacey?
Chris wears T-shirts.
Stacy?
I have an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. hoodie.
But you live in California. When do you wear a hoodie?
All the time, man. You know, they keep office buildings at, like, freezing.
Really? Oh,
What's freezing to you?
About 65 degrees.
No.
that is cool. That sounds like a Scottish woman's house. That's what that sounds like.
How in the heck
Wow.
they keep an office building at 65 in the middle of a desert? How much electricity do they spend on that?
We're not in the desert. We're in coastal region.
Oh, cool.
It's easy here. Let me tell you.
But it's not that cold. I'm just exaggerating.
Okay.
My mother used to keep the house at 65 all winter, man.
So really, between like, if the temperature is between 70 and about 77, it's good, and you know it's perfect. But once you get above 77, it's hot. It's just you're gonna die hot. And once you get below, to get into 69 and below, it's just freezing. That's San Diego weather for you in a nutshell.
So you have a very wide tolerance for temperature.
Mm.
No, not a very low tolerance for temperature. Like
Maybe a narrow tolerance for
7
temperature.
degrees.
Kind of like if it's not ideal, you're putting on your Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. hoodie. Or you're staying inside.
Boot
where it's safe.
season happens right about when it hits about 69, 70 degrees in the winter time, and there's no rain, there's
Boot
no snow. Yeah, boot season.
Do you get excited for boot season?
I get really excited for boot
It's
season.
like, oh, I can wear my boots now.
Yes.
I'm so excited. It's like we get excited for sandal season. It's like, yay, no more socks.
Yes.
Okay.
Except
Were
it's not
we
as good
answering
on
a
it's not as
question?
good on your calves.
And then, of course, there's April, which is all just rubber boots. So, like, you see the different colors of rubber boots.
Oh, I am so glad I don't live somewhere where it rains all the time anymore.
That might be here because we have so many fins. There's lots of rubber boots. I don't know if rubber boots are a thing anywhere else.
There are rain things.
Is that like a euphemism?
They came
No.
in popularity again not too long ago. It's a fashion thing, but it was kind of a trendy thing. I don't know if it's actually exists anymore.
Well, it exists here.
A cute pair of rain boots is always nice.
So on that topic,
So
I know
only
where I saw
Stacy.
lots of rain boots is when I was living in Washington, and if you went to one of the farms, whenever they walked around in the cow manure, they would put on rubber boots.
That is a good idea.
yeah, that's not something
Tell
for
you from experience.
open foot shoes.
Yeah, that is not where you're wearing your sandals. Although you can get stuck even with the boots on. I've had that happen.
So today you went public with the Contessa schedule for GenCon.
Yeah,
That's
it's
one way to let
actually,
your geek flag fly.
yeah, it's actually everything's up and almost everything. I have one more event that I'm hoping to come through, which will be really cool in and of itself. But yeah, we have like
Can you talk about it?
what?
The one more event.
It's a board game charity event, and Tiffany Ralph is going to be running it, and she does a lot of board game stuff around, and she's actually was the first person I think to bring, yeah, she was the first person to bring board games to one of our online Contessa events. I forget which website she uses for it, but it's really cool. I watched them play, several times. They just pick whatever game was there and they'd go for it. But what she's going to do is it's called a board game tasting kind of thing. Board game tasting and charity auction. So,
Spoiler alert, they taste like cardboard.
so what you do is you buy a ticket, and your ticket is your raffle ticket too. And then and all of the money goes to GenCon's charity, and which I think is a battered women's shelter this year. And everybody comes in, and she's picked 3 different games that they're going to play. They start out with like a light kind of appetizer game, and then they have a meaty kind of full game, and then they have a little dessert game kind of going for it. And then all of the games that are there are being donated by various game companies, and then they're going to be auctioned off to everybody who played them at the end of the session.
Oh, that's fun.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's really cool, and it'll be a lot of fun. And then
So what is like a board game entree? Like what is a?
I don't know actually.
What's like a dessert? Like love letter?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Dessert.
She gave me some examples, but I don't remember what they are.
This sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Too bad you're not cool enough to come to GenCon.
It
Dave.
really is too bad.
Yeah. There's going to be 2 LARPs going on. One of them, Shoshana actually wrote the LARP specifically for Contessa and specifically for this particular GenCon event.
That's cool.
There's 20 GMs running games all at the same time from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Thursday. There's so many of us that we're taking the largest room there, the tournament room that they run the Iron GM tournament thingy in.
Well, that's awesome.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. And we've got, I'm running a workshop for women only on system design, and it's going to be a really cool kind of interactive thing where we're going to actually play a game that helps you design a system, and we're going to do a lot of talking about different parts of what systems are, like what's point buy and what kind of things are should you have in there, and what are the key systems that you have to worry about, like combat and skills and all that kind of stuff, and why would you do it this way or why would you do it that way, kind of little discussions like that. And
why did you decide to make it women only?
Because when women are in a room where they're outnumbered by men, and sometimes it doesn't even take them being outnumbered by men, they are about 70 to 80% less likely to speak up and actually become part of the conversation. So by shutting it down to women only, everybody can have this free feeling of being able to talk. And a lot of times, some part of it is that guys have, no offense, but you guys like to cut people off all the time. And women
Because we're trained to do
don't respond. See, you did it right just there.
I know.
I thought
The women
about
don't
doing
respond
it
to that.
ironically, and I figured David would beat me to it. So
Yeah, so there's that. There's a couple of panels. One of them is the How I Designed It panel that I ran for our last panel weekend. I'm going to be running that again. Shannon Germain's going to be sitting on that one. And
awesome.
A couple other people, Elsa Henry, and I forget who else is going to be on there. And that's going to be pretty cool. So it's just going to be a panel just to talk to them about how they design the games that they design, what kind of process they go through, what kind of things they like to do, how they like to get their, creative juices flowing, that kind of stuff. One of my goals is really to demystify what it takes to actually design a game, because I think that there's so much emphasis on a bunch of buzzwords and jargon and crap that makes it sound like it's way more complicated than it actually is. So anything that I can do to actually make it sound what it is, I have a friend right now who, she's a really good friend of mine, and she's running a Storium game. You guys know what Storium is, right?
Yes.
Nope. Sounds like some kind of fake thing in a sci-fi show.
Is that
like unobtainium?
It's a play-by-post game site that they have a kind of a rudimentary system that involves using cards, and as the narrator you get to create all of these cards that people use as strengths and weaknesses and goals and assets and a couple other things, and then you can set the story and you can tell it, and people respond in moves, which are actually them taking over control of the story in various parts. It's really fun. I'm actually running the game that I ran for you guys at the last Contessa, the werewolf game. I'm running a Storium version of it right now, and it's the cool thing about Storium is that they can really, really dig into all of these little tiny parts that I had in there that you guys just really only touch the surface of, and they're able to really kind of get in there, and it's kind of cool. But anyways, I have a friend, and her name is Felicity, and she hasn't really done a whole lot of tabletop gaming. She's just getting into it. She's actually in my Precious Dark group, which is supposed to run on Wednesday. Crap. And which is great, and she's played some tabletop gaming, but she decided that, her and I talked about Storium a lot. One of the problems with it is that there's no randomness at all. So, there's no way to roll a dice or anything along those lines. There's no system. So you can kind of predict how it is that you're going to actually play your cards, and you can game the system really, really well doing that. And that's one of the things that I don't really like about it. I think the system could be way better. So what she did is she just started with one rule at a time, building her own system on top of that. Okay, roll a d12 to see if you do this, and roll a d6 to see who in the party gets affected. And she started making tables and stats and all of these things. And before you know it, she's created a system for the world that she's built. And I don't even think she really realizes what she's done.
Nice,
pretty cool.
Well, I think that's really how a lot of the best.
Well, that's how it all started.
Gaming systems start,
right.
Is just,
You make a house rule. That's the first thing, that's the first design that anybody ever does is, well, that's a dumb rule, let's make a new rule for it, or
yeah.
I don't like the way this works, so I'm going to change it to be that way it works. And you're already doing game design at that point in time. It's not nearly as complicated, and it doesn't take nearly the level of skill that it would sound like it takes from the outside.
It doesn't take all the maths.
Yeah.
Should be aware of the maths, though.
The maths can be fun, especially on that dice site. I forget what it's called.
Any dice.
Yeah, any dice. That's so fun.
So, Stacy,
What else?
Why is all of this important?
Well, what important?
Just the whole Contessa in real life and.
It's so when we started this, the idea was really to just have 6 games. I said it would be great if we could get 6 GMs, so I'll run games at the same time one night. It'd be really cool. And then before I knew it, Derek was looking for me and contacting me because he wanted to do a much bigger event, and he asked us if we could do it, and I said, sure, I'd love to pull that off. And we only really had about 2 or 3 months to put it together. So what makes it important is that, this is really our first foray into face-to-face conventions. Everything that we've done has been online, and we're not doing it in a small way either. It's like it's like we have 25 events. I'm gonna be completely strung out by the end of Thursday, and then we're gonna have the after party on top of that. So but it's gonna be totally worth it and a ton of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. But it helps us get out in front of people. It helps us actually get the word out. You know, one of the things that we're going to do is several organizations and gaming companies have said that they'll carry flyers for us at their GenCon booths.
Oh, cool.
So, you know, that's going to get the word out a lot more and get more people involved in Contessa. And it really allows us to get a much broader audience to what it is that we're looking for, which is really what we need in order to continue growing.
So,
Awesome.
as far like when Contessa started, one of the draws I think for the new GMs, or well, any of you guys GMing for strangers, was that it was online and you were safe. You're behind your screen. You can just kick somebody out. You can control the hangout. Any concerns with face-to-face? Like, how do you guys? Did you get any feedback going in?
Mildly, I have a little bit of a concern that something might happen, but I kind of doubt it will. I'm not running a game. I'm going to be I'm just going to be walking around and being there for questions and being there to deal with anything that needs to be dealt with. My husband is a big guy, and I've already told him that he's going to be our bouncer.
Your husband is also one of the least harmful seeming people that I've probably ever met in my life.
Yeah, but Stacy's an Amazon, right?
Yeah, Stacy's much scarier than Rob. I mean that in a good way, Stacy.
He can't hear you.
Yeah, I didn't I say things to that effect to him?
He
Probably
looks
nodding.
he looks like the scary one. That's all that needs to be happening.
Yeah.
Oh my, that's fantastic.
So there will be,
not-
and we're all in one big room too. That's the other thing that I
right.
like a lot. The only thing that'll be separated from us is that the LARPs are really on the other side of the convention because of the way that they set up the rooms. Like LARP rooms have half the amount of tables, so they're all on one side of the convention, and then RPG rooms are on the other side of the convention, and they have the full amount of tables.
So what kind of LARPs are going on? I'm not a LARP person, so I don't really.
One of them, the one that Shoshana made, it's an Amazonian LARP, which really looks cool. I wish I could actually play in it. And the other one she's doing, there's a LARP card game called Slash, I think is what it's called. But it's about taking all of your favorite geek characters and mixing them up together in this kind of thing. That's how it was explained to me. I might be completely butchering what this is, but
It from what I've read about it, sounds sort of like a cross between Cards Against Humanity and Slash Fiction.
yeah.
Oh,
So
That looks like
Sounds
it could be
interesting.
fun. And those are the two left. There's another panel. There's one. Sarah's running a panel on. There's a fanfic for that. Is that what we're calling it? No, wait. That's the Slash thing. She's running one on basically taking your favorite fandom and turning it into a game. So, there's something that doesn't actually have a game for it, and you're a really big fan of this. Like, let's say, Gail Carriger's Parasol Protectorate. There's no game that exists for this. You could. It's a steampunk world, so you could probably, and it's a steampunk werewolf vampire world, so you could probably take some things and kind of make it work for that. But nothing really exists for that. And so what she's going to do, her and I forget exactly who is actually going to be on that panel, but they're going to actually take from the audience. Okay, I want this this fandom into a game, and they're going to talk about, okay, here's the system you might want to use for that to actually accomplish what it is that you're making. Just kind of get people into the idea of hacking stuff more, and it's
cool.
I saw last year a lot of events and panels and things that were around getting published. Their main goal was to get you published, and I think that there's a much broader amount of people who aren't necessarily that interested in getting published, but they still want to know how to do this kind of stuff because just to play their favorite fandom in a game, just to build something like on Storium so that you can play with your friends. It doesn't have to always be something that has to be published. So that's kind of what I want to bring the level of it down a little bit and say, anybody can do this. You don't have to have a whole lot of, knowledge or skill or the ability to publish things or even to use InDesign or any of that stuff in order to design a game. And I just kind of want to bring it back down to the.
So Contessa's GenCon is all about accessibility.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. On our opening ceremonies, it's going to be 11 a.m. on Thursday, which will consist of me talking for a little bit, and then I'm going to introduce Margaret Weiss, and she's going to give our keynote address, and then she's going to introduce. Oh, and then I guess I'm coming back up, and then I'll be introduced to Shanna Germain, and she's going to come up and give another speech on women in leadership and gaming in particular. So that's going to be really cool too. It's kind of terrifying in many, many ways because Dragonlance is kind of what got me into gaming. So it's like this full circle thing that's happening that's just absolutely terrifying. I don't know how I'm going to stand in front of all of these. We have a room for the opening ceremonies that takes 150 people.
Nice.
And we're trying to get GenCon support to. We probably will be able to actually help us make sure that those seats actually get filled. So I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified.
That's awesome.
I don't think filling those seats are going to be a problem.
No.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to be really cool. So we've got a lot of stuff we got to do. We need to. We're making a couple of different signs. They're letting us use a little bit more signage than they usually do, just because they want to make sure to get that traffic in there. And we need to make the stuff that we're giving away, because we're giving all of our GMs. They each get a T-shirt and a lanyard and a badge ribbon.
Very important.
They're awesome. I love lanyards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna get rainbow tie-dye lanyards with the Contessa logo on them.
Fun.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that too. Lanyards will be given out on a case-by-case basis.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, we'll get some good bribes.
Yeah.
And we get the lanyards, and we've got badge ribbons, and we're actually getting there's this program called, I think it's the backup program, and it's a badge ribbon that you can wear that anybody who, if you're feeling like somebody's being weird and creeping you out and talking to you, if you see somebody with this ribbon, you can just turn around and start having a conversation with them, and they will do everything in their power to pull you away from the creeper. So we're going to get a whole bunch of those made too, so that people can pick them up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I forget what else. I mean, I've got like this whole pile of things that we're going to be giving away. I'm pretty excited about it all too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
I'm
light
really
of the
looking
whole,
forward to seeing what you guys do.
yeah,
What are you doing at Gen Con, Chris? Just going around mooching? Mooching
Mostly-
games?
Mostly just meetings.
All right, for Bleeding Cool, give me a game.
No.
well,
It doesn't do that half the time.
No, I never once did I say, hey. And Stacy can attest. She saw me.
I'm just bugging you.
Yeah.
Stacy's making the world a better place, and you're mooching games.
so the other thing that's going to be happening at Gen Con is that the Swords and Wizardry Kickstarter is going to start.
Yeah.
Right there too.
That's going to kick ass.
I half
I
expect.
predict funding in 5 hours.
Well, that's
Really?
That's my prediction. I'm throwing that down right now. It will fund in 5 hours.
Wow.
I think you might want to wait to see what their funding goal is first.
I know what it is,
Oh.
but I'm not going to say it yet.
$10 million.
I don't think it's relevant to my guess. I think it'll fund in 5 hours.
It's being a project manager for this. It's a really, really interesting and very, very eye-opening experience. It's like I'm digging into pretty much every part of this, and it's really cool to be able to do it. And I have a lot of advice for people who are looking to get hired.
That's awesome.
Are you willing to give that advice?
Put your email address on everything. Just it should not be hard to find. If you are a freelance artist, it should not be hard to find your email address. But it is so hard to find email addresses. It's crazy. I don't even understand it exactly.
Oh, and oh my
actually,
God, listen to frickin' Art Direction.
Yeah.
That too.
Luckily, everybody's been great with my art direction, so I think I've been overwhelming people with like giving them too much art direction. Maybe I don't know, but
I don't know. I think for a creator, it's easier. The smaller the box they put you in, the easier it is to operate and go wild, right?
yeah,
If you know where the walls are, you can do anything you want within those walls, and it's easier because you know where the walls are. Like when I get a writing job, I prefer knowing exactly how long like you want it and the topic and whatever. And if I've got that, I can crank something out in hours. If it's just like, yeah, come with a story idea, okay, or whatever, it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll see you in 6 months.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I come up with something that maybe catches your fancy.
Yeah, so we have these iconic characters that we're using, and there's 6 of them. And we're trying to intersperse them throughout the book, but one of the pieces of art direction I've given is we have a piece of concept art to just give an idea of what they all look like. But when I give it to each of the artists, I'm saying, I want you to draw these characters as your interpretation. I don't want you to have to, feel like you need to actually stick to exactly what we're doing here. Just I want to see your take on these kind of characters. And they've got bios almost each and every one of them, so that they know exactly what they're looking at.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I spent a lot of time working on this, and Sarah spent a lot of time working on this too, and it's I love the way that it's coming out. It's really coming out cool. I'm scared to death too that all of these fans are not gonna like it, but
I find that unlikely. First of all, the bar is low for OSR production. Bar as layout and so on. In a lot of cases, it's pretty low. So you have a built-in fan base, a large built-in fan base that really likes Swords and Wizardry, really wants it updated, really wants a better, easier to reference book with awesome art.
And find the damn charts.
Where you can find the damn charts, and you're going to give them that. So that solves, like, you are solving a bunch of problems, and you're adding an extra layer on top of that, which, I mean, I don't see a downside. People are excited. People are wicked excited for this.
I know, it's a little.
I'm excited because this is going to be the one I buy in hard copy. Because I've been waiting for a Swords and Wizardry that I can put on my shelf.
We haven't talked too much about stretch goals yet, but I think we're going to do like the leather-bound stretch goal, and like Bill was telling me, when they do these leather-bound books, they do them right. These aren't like the one that I have that's from Onyx Path. It's basically leather that's all been chipped together. It's like pressed turkey, but it's leather instead. And Bill was telling me that when they make theirs, you get basically 2 books per cow.
Okay.
So it's one solid piece of leather. It's actual leather, which is so I can't wait to actually see these books. And he was showing when he did on Swords and Wizardry Appreciation Day, when he did Drink Spin Run, because Matt was supposed to do Drink Spin Run, but Matt's power went out just before they started and didn't come back until after they were done. So he got on the phone and got Bill to talk to them about everything, and Bill showed them the last one. Was it Rapanathuk, I think? They had a blacksmith book. And he showed it during the episode, and it's like it's made of steel. This thing is blacksmithed together, and it's just like you could kill somebody with it.
I couldn't get something like that. The shipping to Canada would be brutal.
Well, I mean, I think that they went for. I think it was the crazy. It was that really high tier when you get people who are just want to spend crazy amounts of money, like $1,500. Yeah, it was something like that. Some crazy amount of money for it.
The thing is, if you put that goal, somebody out there is going to get it, or they'll go one down.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is cool.
Yeah,
sounds cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So everything's going to be coming to a head all at the same time for me this year.
Wow. You okay with that?
Yeah, I'm terrified, but
She doesn't have a lot of choice at this point, but
nope. The train is on the track.
How are you going to be after it's all over? You're going to have like a post
Not exactly, because the thing is that the money that I make off of doing swords and wizardry gets turned immediately back into a project, an OSR project that Sarah and I are starting, and it also goes into funding Precious Dark, and it also goes into funding. There's a book that I want to write that I'm actually going to be playing the first. I'm going to be running the first game of it at NTRPG Con in early June. I've been working on drop table random dungeon creation.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that specifically for the tournaments that we're going to do. But the system that I'm coming up with, I realized that you could make. The cool thing about it is that there's actually a story involved in each one of these. It's not just a completely random dungeon. There's some things that actually tie it together, and there's a story that ties it together. But when you actually roll up the dungeon, it's completely random in how everything is set up, what kind of monsters you're going to get in what room, where things are going to be, where the quest items are. So you could play the same scenario over and over and over and over again and never get the same thing twice, which is really cool. So I realized that I could actually take that formula and apply it to pretty much any gaming system, pretty much any game that you want to run, and you could just have a whole bunch of different scenarios like that in one book that you could pull together, and you could make a random dungeon or a random scenario, or like the Zombies of Walmart thing that I did was almost like a dungeon crawl.
Okay.
And so stuff like that.
So you have the same underlying story, but it's a different adventure each time.
Pretty much, yeah. Like the.
Okay, so like the Dunwich Horror?
I don't know.
Or the Dunwich, what was it? Oh God, it's Zarkov wrote it. Scenic Dunsmouth. That's it. Scenic
Rogue.
Yeah, I haven't actually read that one. I have it somewhere, but yeah, I've heard that it's similar to that. Yeah.
Okay.
So then, what I want to do is I want to create a book that is nothing but 20 or 30 of these kind of drop table systems, so that you can just pull something out steampunk if you wanted to, or pull something out dungeon crawl and stuff like that. Yeah. And then at the end of it, I'm going to give all of the templates in order to do your own, so you could just fill out some forms and fill out some drop tables, and you have your own drop table adventure. So
that's cool. Yeah.
So so I've got 3 things that I want to publish that the swords and wizardry stuff is going to actually push towards, and then we've got some stuff that we want to do for contested. See, so we only had GenCon. We only had a couple months really to do this. We had hardly any time. So now we're going to have an entire year to work on it, because we're starting immediately, and they do I already said that they want us to come back. So if we pull this off the way that we want to, we're definitely going to come back, and we want to partner with more groups to do more different types of diversity. Because we're specifically geared towards women, and it would be great if we had one that's geared towards people of color. And we want to partner with those people. I don't want to try to do that myself,
right?
Because
no color.
Yeah, exactly. Look at me, I'm see-through.
That's a color.
So, I want to actually partner with other groups that do these kind of things, and, pull together something really cool all together with us, kind of have a diversity day kind of thing. And I want us to actually spread out into other conventions. So
yeah,
that would be cool too.
Starting from the top down, that's a good way to go.
Right?
Big one.
I don't do small things, apparently. This is what I'm starting to do.
Steps, no.
Several people told me, they said, if you want to do this convention thing, you should start at some small local conventions to do it, just to kind of get your feet wet in it. And I'm like, no, we're just going to go to Gen Con.
Oh, wow. That's hilarious.
So
Sudbury's got a con now.
It'll either go really well or really badly. I'm not quite sure. But
I'm sure
nobody would be able to tell.
That'll be awesome.
Okay, so in summation,
What?
Awesome stuff.
what do you mean? What? It's been
Yeah,
like an
it's been
hour.
an hour.
So
Has it?
I talked like half of it.
yeah,
That's
That's
okay. We've all been waiting to hear about this stuff anyways.
That's very true.
And so is everybody else. So it's all good.
Okay, so to sum up the last hour-ish, Age of Ultron mixed bag. Agent Carter, it was really cool when Spider-Man came in at the end.
Such a douche.
And then Howard Stark took a time-traveling Spider-Man out. I wasn't expecting them to have the Marvel Cinematic Spider-Man debut in a TV show, but bam, there it was.
Yeah, Spider-Man was really fun.
Yeah. And then the fact that it was played by Sean Connery acting like he was a high school student was even more amazing.
Oh my God.
A high school student from Yonkers.
Mm-hmm.
He still sounded like a Scotsman.
Yeah, he still sounded like a Scotsman because, you know, that's the way Hollywood works. So.
Hitting on Aunt May in between takes.
Oh yeah, he does like to chase those young women there. Yeah.
No. Anything that you guys any quick bits that you guys wanted to drop before the end?
Any quick bits that we wanted to drop before the end?
Yes.
Quick bits.
I can't really drop my mic very well without damaging it, so I'd rather not do that.
Yeah, mine's.
You can drop mine gently.
Oh, don't drop yours.
I dropped the mic.
Just have Rob pick it up.
Rob's arm comes in.
Yeah.
Then leaves a salad behind. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of exhausted from Stacy's whole description of everything.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see how this plays out and unfolds, and I'm excited for what it means in the next steps. This is cool.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a interesting GenCon. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
Particularly knowing that David can't be there.
Yeah, thanks.
That's okay. I'll text you periodically and tell you something really cool that's happening.
He's just gonna send you photos. It's like live tweeting, only it's gonna be
just to
all in
David.
video and-
Just
Yeah,
to
just
me,
Dave.
because
Just
I'm
to
not on
Dave.
the Twitter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. David, this happened. This was really cool. Look. There you go.
That's
Hey,
awesome.
there's that celebrity you really like. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then we gamed with Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah.
that would be wild.
Well, GenCon doesn't have media guests, so that would be hard.
Yeah.
Never know. He might show up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, then I guess on that note, we will end. Another Geeky Voices carry.
Mm.
Say good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.